In today's video, how do you define a weight loss plateau? Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Arvelo from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, we're going to discuss the idea of a plateau. Anytime we're in a weight loss plan, our goal is going to be to see some consistent weight loss. But how do you define that? And it's not just as simple as the scale. And when you see a plateau, what do you do? How do you adjust? How do you adjust your diet? How do you adjust your cardio? How do you keep fat loss going successfully for a long period of time? And today's question comes from right here on my Instagram direct message. So if you'd like to send me a direct message, do that. We'll get to it, we'll discuss it. And if you like this type of content around an evidence-based approach to putting on muscle, losing body fat, looking good, feeling great, well, hit the subscribe button. It's what I love to do here. So for today's question, it goes like this. How do you define a weight loss plateau? Do you wait for a week to see if the scale has not moved, or maybe you start making a change after a longer period of time? Much love. Well, first of all, thank you for the great question. And as a coach, a lot of it comes down to what our goal is. Because if we have a timeline, such as a bodybuilding competition, a photo shoot, a wedding, well, that can determine that we're going to make changes with a little bit more frequency just to make sure that we're on track for hitting our goals, okay? However, if it's more of a lifestyle approach and we're looking at fat loss in terms of losing more and maintaining it for a longer period of time, I'll sometimes wait a little bit longer. Now, as a coach, I like to do 1 week check-ins typically. Now, if I have a client that I feel is particularly stubborn, or perhaps I want to see more information, we might even do a bi-weekly follow-up update based on that. What I would do if I was you and I was coaching myself is I would try to track as much data as possible to make sure it's actually a plateau. The keys in my mind are always going to be pictures front and back in the same lighting, okay? If you can get a good lighting source that's consistent and get front and back pictures and take them of yourself. Now, the trick to this is to simply put your camera on record, shoot a video, hold the positions for long enough that you can do a thumbnail screenshot, and then you just put that in a folder on your computer. You call it, the date, and you can look week by week and see what's going on. Another great one is going to be to get a waist measurement device. I got this device off Amazon. It simply goes around your waist, you plug it in, and then you just hit the button and it shrinks it to the size of your waist. Since I've been doing my transformation, come down about 10 pounds, but I've lost 4 inches almost off my waist, and that is pure body fat. The thing about body fat is that it can be a bit deceiving. If you lose body fat, but add lean body mass, it can kind of mask the progress on the scale. There can be no net change in the weight because inflammation, our bodies are mostly fluid. So if you have a bigger muscle, a sore muscle, some changes in digestion, some changes in sodium intake, you can see the scale actually go up despite the fact that you have less body fat. So it's not just about looking at the numbers on the scale. However, you do want to see a trend over time of the scale going down if your goal is to lose body fat and you're not going to be putting on a significant amount of muscle. But if you take all those 3 things into consideration, pictures, measurements, and weight, then you can see if it's time to make an adjustment. Now, I'll typically make an adjustment every single week for a competitor who hits a plateau in a contest prep phase. However, if I have a more lifestyle-based client, what I really like to do is allow a 10 to 14 day adjustment and find out if we're really actually stuck in a plateau, okay? From there, how do we adjust? What are the right macronutrient changes? What is the right cardio adjustment for us to make? Well, the first thing to consider, again, is personal preference. Is your client, or are you really fine with food right now and you don't feel like you need to eat more? Perhaps you would prefer to eat a little bit less as opposed to moving a bit more. That's where we got to figure out the energy balance. You can either drop calories and keep cardio the same or activity the same, or you can increase your activity and keep calories the same, or you can do a combination of both. That's usually what I end up doing. We pull a little bit of calories, maybe 250 calories, and we add a little bit of cardio, maybe 10 to 15 minutes more per session. Okay, so if we're doing something like a 2,000 calorie diet, I might bring it down to 1,700, 1,750. And if we're doing like 20 minutes of cardio a day, I might bump that up to 30. You see, so we're just playing with the energy balance to get things moving in our favor again. Now here's really the hot topic of the day right now is metabolic changes. Am I going to ruin my metabolism if I do this for a long period of time? Well, these changes and adaptations are completely normal. They're not something to fear. It's just a part of the process. As you lose body weight, your body requires less energy to keep you moving and running, and that's perfectly fine. If you get to a place where you find that you are unable to sustain your body composition on your calories, that's where you can really look into doing things like refeed and diet breaks. Also, food source is going to have a really large impact on your satiety. When you're overweight and you have a lot of extra body fat, you might find that you can eat food sources that, while macronutrient friendly and allow you to hit your goals, things that are higher in sugar, might actually be a detriment to your overall satiety and your ability to stick to your plan. That's when we can switch to more whole food sources, okay? Whole foods, fiber is going to be a really valuable tool in eating. Volumetric dieting is something that I've seen. The idea of higher food volume, so you can replace a plate of food that has equal calories. One will have a lot more volume. That is going to increase our chances of success over the long term. Also, make food you enjoy, okay? Season it to taste and make it so that you enjoy your meals. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for me today. Ultimately, it comes down to, yes, you want to probably change weekly if you have a timeline goal. You might want to give yourself 2 to 3 weeks to determine if it is a plateau, if it's more of a lifestyle approach and you're not in a rush. Whatever the changes you're going to make are going to be, make sure that you are giving yourself a way to track and measure things accordingly. All right, guys, hope you're having a great Tuesday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.